I want books like this to look me dead in the eyes and say, this is the world, deal with it. Make me believe a slime can become a demon lord. Make me believe someone can get trapped inside an MMO. Make me believe a cat can become a princess. Just stop nudging me every 5 minutes to remind me that we're all in on the joke. I already know it's absurd. That's why I picked up the book. So, I finally read Dungeon Crawler Kyle. I know it only took me, 3 years of people telling me, Darby, you're gonna love this, read Dungeon Crawler Kyle. And every time I mentioned lit RPGs or progression fantasy, someone would appear in my comments like a Pokemon trainer in tall grass. Have you read Dungeon Crawler Kyle? Yes, now I have. And I didn't love it. That's been real. And I know some people are going to sharpen their pitchforks, probably made out of the hardback editions. I do understand why people like it. Let's be it's fast, it's funny, there's the creative, the premise is ridiculous. Earth is destroyed by an alien civilization harvesting its resources. Humanity is forced into an 18 level dungeon that's basically the deadliest reality show ever invented. It's like Love Island with swords. Kyle, who's a former Coast Guard veteran, gets dragged into it alongside Princess Donut, his ex-girlfriend's incredibly spoilt cat. Now that's already funny. And it gets even stranger from there. And it feels like I'm reading an RPG setup. There are classes, loot, stats, achievements, ridiculous monsters, and increasingly absurd situation. As a concept, fine. I loved it. And I'm kind of saying this, I wish it was a video game. Like, I would love a dungeon crawler game like this. It just sounds wacky. I like violence in video games, so yes. And, but reading it, I just kept bouncing off of it. And as I was going through it and I was making notes, I realised I like the violence, I like the jokes, I like the gaming references. I even like the pacing. Nice and fast. It's the tone. It's the tone that absolutely gets under my skin. Because everything feels like it has quotation marks around it. The book constantly seems aware that it's being ridiculous. It knows, and it wants you to know that it knows. You know, the old joke, I know what you know, but they know. It wants... Then it wants to make another joke about how it knows that you know that it knows. It's always looking over its shoulder at the audience going, wink wink, nudge nudge, can you believe this? Look how stupid this is. Isn't this ridiculous? It's that wink, that constant winking. There are so many ways that I could have said that, and I'm so glad I said it right. And eventually, it stopped feeling like winking. I just wanted it to stop nudging me on the shoulder and telling me, look how strange this is. Look how meta the humour is. Just tell me the goddamn story. I know absurdity is hard to pull off. There's always this temptation to comment on it because you're worried the audience won't accept it. But weirdly, the more you explain how ridiculous something is, the less believable it feels. It's why I kept going back to Ready Player One. Their stories aren't even remotely similar, by the way, but they both live in this space where they're constantly referencing culture they assume you already know and understand. They aren't just stories, they're conversations with the audience. Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes it starts feeling like you're sitting next to someone on a sofa, pausing the movie every 3 minutes. Did you get that reference? Yes, I got it. Can we carry on? That's where it just got frustrating. It felt too meta for its own good. It felt like I was... It felt like watching a YouTube video of someone play a game called Dungeon Crawler Kyle. And this is the whole thing. I don't click with Western lit RPGs. And people assume I hate them because I don't talk about it much. I just usually gravitate towards Japanese ones. Light novels, manga, stories that are every bit as ridiculous. Sword Art Online is prime example of that. Sometimes it's even more ridiculous. There's one where heroes get reincarnated, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to be a capybara or a vending machine, or capybara with a sword, or a flamingo. I mean, I'm amazed someone in some of these stories hasn't rebooted the game as a garden fence yet. But here's the thing that I think is the difference. Japanese light novels don't tend to apologize for themselves. They never stop and say, "Isn't this dumb?" They simply accept the premise as reality. Everyone commits. The author commits. The characters commit. The world commits. And because everyone believes it, I believe it too. Absurdity played completely straight is one of my favourite things in fiction. The moment you start apologising for your own premise, I start checking out. That's why Dungeon Crawler Kyle never landed for me. It felt less like reading a novel, and more like listening to a YouTuber narrate one, or narrate the game. You know exactly what I mean? The style where every single thing has to be followed by commentary, every mechanic gets explained, every joke gets another joke, every moment has somebody reacting to that moment. And I just found myself think I'd rather play the game. That was the big thing for me. I'd rather just play the game. Which is strange, because books normally let me imagine the game. This one made me wish the game already existed. I don't know if that's criticism or not, but I wanted to pick up a controller. I wanted to experiment with the builds, fight the bosses, and collect ridiculous items, break the systems. Instead, I was reading someone else doing those things while occasionally looking over at me, making sure I was still laughing. And I don't think that's what I want from the genre. Now, I've already had people tell me, the second book is where it gets good, the third book is amazing, the fifth book will change your life. And maybe they're right, and I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but I have a rule. Book 1 has one job. 1. Make me want book 2. That's it. It doesn't have to answer every single mystery, it doesn't have to become my favourite book, but I just want to sit there at the end thinking I would like a few more 100 pages, please. If it doesn't do that, I'm done. Life is too short and my TBR is terrifying. Every time I buy another book, I think I've accidentally summoned books. I buy one and 5 more appear. There are books staring at my shelves that have been waiting patiently for God knows how long, and they're beginning to organise. If I disappear one day, you know my TBR has finally won. So no, I won't be continuing the series. And that's being real. I come out understanding why people loved it, but I can absolutely imagine someone reading this and becoming completely obsessed and tapping it with their nails on TikTok. Especially if you enjoy streaming culture, gaming culture, tabletop RPGs, progression fantasy, and that kind of very self-aware, very meta humour. It just... I've become least interested in irony. And I'm not interested in stories constantly reminding me that they're stories. I want sincerity, even if it's ridiculous, especially if it's ridiculous. If you're gonna tell me somebody has become a slime that can absolutely battle a dragon, fantastic, but say it with a straight face. Don't apologise, don't wink, don't explain why it's silly, just commit, because if you commit, I'll meet you there. And that's the thing that kind of landed under my skin. It was... I love the idea of this book. That's the best thing. I love the idea. Maybe that's why Japanese stuff just keeps pulling me back. Maybe that's why I end up reading obscene amounts of manga nobody's ever heard of. Maybe that's why I'm forever wandering into little corners, weird little corners of fiction. They don't always work. Some of them are complete disasters, but at least they commit, and they really commit. And I think honesty sincerity over clever, self-aware meta humour every single time. It's just where I am as a reader these days. And that's being honest. Maybe that's what I've discovered about my own reading taste. I don't want fantasy that's looking at me, waiting for me to laugh. I want fantasy or sci-fi or whatever that looks me dead in the eyes and says, this is the world, deal with it, make me believe a slime can become a demon lord, make me believe someone can get trapped inside an MMO, make me believe a cat can become a princess, and stop nudging me every 5 minutes to remind me that we're all in on the joke. I know it's absurd. That's why I picked up the book in the first place. So, I will leave this one here. I'm Darth James. I will talk to you in the next one. Like, subscribe. Consider joining my channel, by the way. We have a podcast and early access for members and people on Patreon. So if you're interested, please say hi. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.